Have you ever run out of Astronium? I know it sucks, but I have the solution for you. In this video I'm going to show step by step how you can get infinite Astronium in Astroneer. Here next to me I've got all the Astronium we got from the Exofarm limited event this Halloween. It might seem like a lot to some of you, but it's nothing compared to what we're gonna get in this video. For context, here is where I plan to store all of it. Both of these canisters combined can hold 800 Astronium, so that should give you a sense of the scale I'm looking to build this at. We are going to get a ton of Astronium and we can keep it going indefinitely, essentially making it pretty much infinite Astronium. I promise you it's gonna be easy to understand and we're gonna have some fun while doing it. We're of course going to use an auto extractor for this, and we'll place it right here on this Astronium node. If you don't know, you can find Astronium next to the core layers. So we are right next to the core, you can even see the purple glow over there from one of its pillars. There we go, I wanna place this somewhere right here. And we're gonna need power for this. And then the bigger problem is moving all of this Astronium from here to our base. I don't want to do this manually. Even though I could just take the rover down here. We have a road from the base straight into the core, so it's not hard. I can just get into the rover, drive here with some resource canisters, get all the Astronium and bring it back to base, but that's kinda boring, so we're gonna automate the whole process. We want it straight into our base just like that, and that's what we're gonna do. So we have two problems, power and moving the Astronium. Now guess how we're gonna fix both of them in one go. We are going to achieve all of that using trains. I've got a station behind me, so here's where the train is gonna come in, unload all the Astronium here, we'll set up an auto arm that will feed it into here. That way we can get a ton of Astronium while doing no work. But of course we're gonna have to build a rail all the way into the core, and then set up a train station down there as well. But for the part up top, we've got two of these medium storage silos. Now I'll set this to stop disabled, because we don't really have any other line going the other direction, so the train will just stop here anyways. And then we're gonna have unloads stopped cars. This way we'll get the Astronium down on here. Doing just that won't work. There's actually another trick that we've got up our sleeve to make this actually function properly, but first we need to get the rail line in place. There we go, we've got it done. So the rail is in place now. What we need next is a train, and now we can also go ahead and place this auto arm right here. We can connect the auto extractor to power. Great, so I got everything connected. Before I turn this auto arm on though, I'd like to have an Astronium in its selector slot, just to make sure nothing weird happens here. And I realized I didn't hook up the train station on the top to the base, so we have no power right now. But I'll go to the top, hook it up, then this auto extractor should start going, and we'll come back down to turn on the auto arm. You can even get this a little bit closer here. Another important thing we need to have in mind is that we'll set this to stop disabled as well, but then this will be to load stopped cars. So the Astronium gets loaded here and unloaded on the top. Don't forget to set that, because otherwise it won't work. Okay, so I'll see you at the top, we'll connect this and I'm gonna show you the trick that makes this all work. So let's do that. Great, so I ran some extenders through here, and now all we need to do is unpack the auto arm here. Then we can connect it to the station. Just like that, we've got power all the way down. So the auto extractor should have already started mining Astronium. We'll turn this around this way, make sure it reaches into here. Now I'll place an Astronium in the selector slot right here. We can turn it on. And now it's time for the train. I'm gonna use a rail car. You don't actually need an engine for this. The rail cars can move on their own. If you want to, you can attach an engine here, because that makes it go faster. But based on the speed of the auto extractor, I don't think we need this to go faster. We could add another rail car though, so we can haul more Astronium at once, but I don't think that's necessary either. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this storage right here. So this should be able to bring 32 Astronium at once. But how do we get it to go back and get more Astronium and do it automatically without us having to do a thing? Well, that's where the trick comes in. We are going to use a storage sensor. We'll attach it to the large storage, make sure it's on full or empty, that means both green arrows are on, and then we're gonna have a proximity repeater right on top of it. Now here's the deal, once you activate the proximity repeater, it should start moving, and it's gonna go all the way down. As I said, this would be faster if I placed an engine on it, but I don't think we need that. So we're gonna beat it to the core, and we'll wait for it there. It reached the station. Now the storage sensor will only activate the proximity repeater when all of these are full, and it's gonna be full in a while. I just turned on the auto extractor. I actually forgot you have to manually turn it on. So yeah, I just turned it on. I place an Astronium in the selector slot of this auto arm as well. And it's storing the Astronium onto the station. The station is loading our train. Once it's done, it's gonna go back up to our base where it gets unloaded. This is going pretty slow, so I'm actually thinking of adding a second auto extractor to this. Of course, that means the Astronium node is gonna get depleted much faster, but once that happens, we'll just move our whole operation to a different Astronium node, and we don't really have to craft anything else for it. We just take our station, move it over there, and move everything along. So that should be a pretty easy operation to do, but we won't have to do that for a long time, because this is probably gonna get us hundreds of Astronium right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another auto extractor, of course with some extra auto arms to get the Astronium to the train station, and then we'll wait around for it to fill up this whole train, and we're gonna see it unload on the surface as well. Then I'll skip ahead in time a little bit so we can see exactly how much Astronium I managed to get in, let's say, a day or a couple hours. So I'll show you all the results in just a second, but for right now, let's get that second auto extractor in there. I got the second one set up as well. I put some medium platforms in here and some lights on this side. That's just to make sure Astronium can't go in there, because the auto arm won't be able to grab it. And for this one, we actually have an intermediary platform here and another auto arm to get the Astronium all the way to our train station. So we're almost done with our first Astronium shipment. If you want this to go faster, one thing you can do is add an engine to your rail car so that it moves faster. But as you can see, loading it takes more than moving it. The good thing is that this is just the first load. The next time it's gonna come back, it will already get loaded with some of the Astronium that's been mined in its absence. So it's gonna go much quicker. Then if you want it to go even faster, you can add a third auto extractor. Or what you can do is you can find two Astronium nodes that are fairly close to each other and have two auto extractors on one of them. And let's say there's another node right here, you have two auto extractors on this and auto arms running all the way through here. That way you can get this to work so much faster. But personally, I don't think I'll need Astronium at such a high speed. I'm never gonna use 100 Astronium in just an hour, except for the Christmas event, but that's a whole other thing. Now I'm just waiting for this to get filled up so I can show you guys how it gets to the surface. And then I'm ready to skip ahead in time, like 8 hours, let's say, 12 hours, something like that, and see just how much Astronium we've gathered in those canisters up top. It's almost filled, so we should see it go back to the surface in just a second now. We're waiting for the last Astronium here, and we've got it. So there it goes. Now it's gonna go all the way to the surface, where it's gonna get unloaded. I'm actually catching up with it. I wanna get to the surface first so we can see it unload as well. And as I said a couple times, you can make this go faster by adding an engine, but this is good enough for right now. So we'll get there right in front of it and we can see it unload. And we'll see how this goes. And just like that, all the Astronium is unloaded and it goes back down into the caves. This auto arm stores it over here. And the whole process is gonna get repeated indefinitely. Now I'm gonna wait for a couple hours and see just how much Astronium we can get using this method. In just a couple hours we got well over 600 Astronium. And we're nearing 700 now, so we are working at a rate of about 200 per hour, something like that. Needless to say, the farm is going great, and I'm gonna keep it running, at least for as long as that Astronium node still holds up. So far I had to move the auto extractors a couple times higher up the Astronium node, but other than that, I didn't have to do really anything. These are gonna come in extremely handy for the Christmas event this year. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. I've been Games for Life, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, Astroneers!